Hey, everybody. We're live. Hey, now. How are you today? Hi. All right. Let's put out that we're live. Put it out here.
Hi.
Hello. We're
Can you
live,
hear me?
by the way. Yeah, I just went live.
Oh, nice. What's it going on, sir?
Nothing much.
Yeah.
We just
Are
got a
we
very
live?
nice message on Twitter.
Saying what?
He loves us.
Who is it? Who's it from?
He wrote, "Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know I'm a huge thanks for what you do and the content you create. It's seeing me through these tough times. I live by myself. Lucky I have hobbies, but your podcast brings me joy. I laugh and learn and have fun. Thank you so much." The nicest
Give me like
message ever.
give me like 2 seconds.
Go ahead.
You're lying. We were not live, right?
No, we are live.
Oh Jesus. All right. Hold
I
on
had
to
to get
like
the
two
feed up.
seconds.
Yeah, no,
Let me
go ahead.
can you hear me well?
No, actually I can't. You're not. I don't think you're
Okay.
on the right mic.
Hold on. Okay. Let me do this. And I don't know why it does that, but okay. All right, I'm gonna exit and come back.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Can you hear me?
Hang on.
We had all the
Yeah.
black bins.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Let's just take everything out.
Oh,
And
maybe
I
I did.
started on your side.
And you found it.
I pulled down the very first bin,
And it was there.
and right under one T-shirt. So it was intentional. It wasn't like you tossed
Maybe,
it.
yeah.
You took one. Everything else is like.
It was in a safe space.
Hi, Jess.
I'm okay now.
Okay, good. I'm so glad. I misplaced her Saint Laurent bag clutch. It's a very expensive purse, and I put it somewhere because we're redoing the room upstairs, and she just found it. Let me hear you,
You
tap
tried
the
to-
mic.
You tried
Tap
to
your
take
mic, baby. There you go. You're
Can you hear
very
me?
low, though. Yeah, hang on. Let me
Yeah?
fix this. Oh,
Yeah,
it
fix
could
me.
be me.
Fix me up. Fix me up, baby.
Talk for me.
All right. Did you take the purse because you wanted to add an accessory to the Enchante ensemble?
Yeah. You are
Ensemble?
very low. I don't know if you could turn your mic up.
I don't think there's anything I could do about this because
Alright,
it
bring
just.
bring it a little closer.
Is
I
that
don't know why
better?
you're so much... Yeah, it is better. Yeah, when it's closer.
Is that
it's weird.
better?
Yeah, very nice. Hey, Ruben, Large, Pablo, Electrifying Radio, MG Geek.
Mr. Gonzo. Gonzo.
Is that his new thing?
Huh? That's his thing. Mm-hmm. There we go.
All right. There's Sweet Baby Rich. There
I need to practice good posture on this episode.
I know. Can you... Okay, let's find the Double or Nothing card. I can't believe there's a pay-per-view this weekend. I went to work yesterday.
Wow.
I had to do a walkthrough of the clubs. City's freaking empty as hell, man. Still.
Yeah, I had to go in yesterday too. It took me, I'm not kidding, it took me less than 30 minutes to drive from my place to 77th Street on the Upper West Side.
That's wild, right? That's crazy.
Oh, I was doing like 86 on the LA. It was awesome.
All right. All right, let's get the word out, baby, that we're live and in living color. All right. Matt Men's live, baby. Let everybody know. Let your friends know. Let your neighbors know.
Let your mamas know.
Let your mamas know. We love our mamas.
We already got one question from Bob. How is Enchante dealing with the cancellation of Fleet Week?
Yeah, he's not doing okay with it at all.
Look 2 down and see my my response to it.
Hold on. He makes his own Fleet Week with sanitation workers.
And then 2 down after that.
Put your garbage in me, baby.
Kayfabe Chronicles says he may get an Enchante tattoo.
Oh, Kayfabe Chronicles. We have the logo
I object
already.
to it.
No,
I object to
do
it, but I support it. I support it. I object to it.
Don't listen to Rich. Don't listen to Rich. I think that's the best idea anybody's ever had.
I don't think you should scar your body unless you have like wacky If you have like a bunch of punk tattoos that make no sense, that's
cool.
fine.
Yeah. If this is your first tattoo, not a good idea. Jonathan, what up? Let's see who else. Kayfabe, Soulless, Bob Rowe, Josh.
However, I would suggest that the tattoo be Enchante's face, and where his mouth is, it's your belly button, and next to it, it's just the moan. The classic Enchante moan. Oh.
All right. I have a Raptors tattoo from the... I have a Reptar tattoo from the Rugrats. Love that.
Oh, that's awesome.
3,000, 399. Money, 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 money.
Thanks, man. We didn't even start the show yet.
Donald Trump's theme. I love that that's his fucking theme.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
I know, but I the whole thing is just hysterical. I think about it sometimes.
Sure.
Let's... Where is this? Let's go to my profile, and then we're going to go live right now. Oh, shoot. Dude, people freaked out at my Kenny Omega post.
Oh, so good.
People got really angry at it. Like, they're like, first of all, it's All Japan, and also, Kenny was 3. I was like, I know,
good.
Dude. I know.
It's so good how everybody's literal.
Everybody's so literal. And then I love the ones that write, like, I hope this is a joke, but if it's not...
You're banned.
Can I tell you, I got
You're
into a fight
canceled,
yesterday.
Andrew.
I got into a huge fight yesterday with an old broad on Bell while I'm waiting for the train.
Oh, nice.
I got to talk about this.
Broad, you call her a bag of bones?
No, but I did tell her... I can't even say what I told her. Oh, man.
But you're not saying broad. You don't refer to women as broads. A broad is a very specific kind of person.
I call my wife a broad all the time. Like in a good way. I don't mean it in like a
see the other guy.
No. This old woman, I did not call her a broad, but I used a very bad word with her. She yelled at me for not wearing a mask. I took my mask off because it was so freaking hot when I was sitting by the train. And she walked by. She's like, "Where's your mask?" And I said, "None of your effing business." And then she goes, "No, really, where's your mask?" And then I said, "It's in a place that's very bad to say in public." I'm going to text this to you.
Bob's on fire today. He said, "Did you lose the fight or did you hit her with your merce?" Good. This dude's Jordan right now. This is Game 6 Jordan from Bob right now.
Shooting threes. All right, let's get this started. Ready? All right.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's a good. I got a text.
I just couldn't fucking deal with it. Couldn't deal with that woman. And she wasn't wearing.
I can
one, by the
imagine.
way. She wasn't wearing a mask.
I got tested, so I'm okay.
She had no mask. She was like 80. All right. You ready?
Ready.
Okay. Let's do this. In 3, 2, and 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Matt Men, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Andrew Zarian. Of course, I'm joined by the one, the only, the Armenian bulldozer, Rich Stambolian.
How do you say bulldozer in Armenian?
You just say it with an accent. That's it. I don't think they have a word for it.
Bulldozer. Like that?
Dude, a couple months ago, I got a message from some guy. He's a viewer of ours. He's Armenian.
Okay.
And
Sure.
he's like, oh, did you guys meet at the Armenian church? Like, that's so cool that you guys do this. And he was talking about like Armenian friends. He did this whole thing. It was like a nice email. And I was like, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but like, that's the least common thing Rich and I have in common.
Right.
It's being Armenian. Like, it has no part in our friendship. He's like, really? He's like, so you guys just happen to randomly meet and become friends? I was like, yeah. We didn't become friends because we're Armenian. He's like, that's actually, and he was stunned by this. Stunned.
Let me tell you something. Armenians, per capita, Armenians get real effing horny when you tell them you're Armenian, and then they ask you about Armenian friends.
Yes.
And usually my answer is like, listen, I know like 2 Armenians, and I met like you, and I met the other one 3 years ago, and that's Harry. And that's it.
Oh, Harry's
that
Virginian,
is
yeah.
Yeah, that is it, you know?
But it's
so
the same thing with
I don't
Harry,
know,
too. Harry's the same exact boat. Like, we became friends. That's like, we don't even, I think we've had like 5 or 6 conversations about Armenianness, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I speak
Anyway.
it, but I think it bursted this guy's bubble. He was like, really? It's like, so you
walk
guys
it and talk
aren't, you guys aren't super Armenian. I'm like, no, man. I'm like,
you could pass for a guy named Sargev opening his hookah bar /
all the
illegal
time,
poker
dude.
room.
I could pass for any shady possible Eastern European businessman or Iranian, Persian businessman or anything that's a little off center. I could pass for.
Can your third incarnation be the Arab oligarch?
I would love it. That's what I want.
There you go.
In life. Guys, this is a show all about professional wrestling, not for our disconnect from being Armenian in our relationship. We've been doing a show for almost 10 years now, and I feel like we've kind of hit this amazing point in doing the show where it's so much more fun doing it this way. Our chat room is unbelievable. We got this unbelievable group of people. If you're listening to the podcast, you can listen to us live each and every week, generally on Thursdays now since AEW came in the mix and since we've been in quarantine. Doing a show on Thursdays from 11 to about 12:30 every day. Also, this Saturday, we'll be doing a live watch-along for the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view. We'll be taking your phone calls. We just got this phone system here installed. We took calls last week. It was so much fun for Money in the Bank. We're going to do it again for AEW. We're going to have a call screener this time. So that's going to help a lot. Yeah, thank God. We're going to have a call screener. So we're going to be taking your phone calls, hanging out with you. You guys were awesome in the super chat. So I want to get that out of the way, obviously. And just remind everybody, if you're listening to this on Friday or Thursday night or Saturday morning, come back to us Saturday night. We're going to be doing it live here on YouTube. Rich, a lot going on in pro wrestling. A lot of good, a lot of bad. I want to start off with the Shad story. One half of Crime Time.
Very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Yeah. He went to the beach with his family, and a riptide came and essentially took him and his son, and lifeguards came to rescue them. He pointed to the direction of his son. They rescued his son, but they lost him at sea in the water. And generally, it takes about 2 to 3 days for the body to surface, and it did. And yesterday we found out that he had drowned in the water. Very sad. It really, I mean, just it really hit a lot of people hearing this, because this guy was such a selfless guy. You heard stories about him all the time. He was really thoughtful in pro wrestling of other people. I believe he stopped an armed robbery about a year ago. So just terrible news there, Rich.
Yeah, it's awful, man. He seemed like a really good dude. It looks like nobody had a bad thing to say about him. I was hoping for like that miracle where he kind of just they're doing like the patrol and they see him there. But rest in peace, Shad, man. It's very unfortunate. Our thoughts go out to the family. Crime Time was a lot of fun, dude.
Crime Time was a lot of fun. That it's a gimmick that wouldn't happen today, I feel. They had a lot of fun with the gimmick. It was they enjoyed doing it. It was enjoyable to watch, and that's what really matters. Memorable characters that were hysterical. Just a shame. 39 years old. The dude was freaking young.
Yeah.
Young dude. I feel terrible for the family and, of course, his wife and his son. Also, another depressing topic, which I want to spend a little bit more time on this. The Shad thing, I can't. Sure. It's so sad, but
it's very upsetting.
The Dark Side of the Ring episode on Owen Hart aired this Tuesday, bringing in almost 350,000 viewers, the highest rated show ever for Vice. So, whoa. I mean, this solidified, I guess, a season 3 here between the Benoit. But Benoit had the other high number, but between the Benoit episode and this, they kind of solidified about a season or 2 of this. Very well done. The Owen Hart one, it was interesting, and I'll tell you why. I had no idea, and you tell me, Rich, if you knew this, how I had no idea how much disdain Martha Hart has with fans. Did you know this?
Yes. So I watched this yesterday with my wife, and
I did too,
her takeaway was basically like she got very upset. She was crying, and also like she was like, "Why would anybody support Vince McMahon after this?" Yeah, and it was a good question. I couldn't really answer it, and I think the Martha Hart thing has been going on in like wrestling fan communities for ages with like the hearsay and like what did she do, what did she say, and it's very, very convoluted, and it's something I don't think we should really get into like the minutia of, but there's like 2 sides of that story, and I think the Dark Side of the Ring did a really good job with that the other day. It was very tragic, very unfortunate, but it was also like really thought-provoking in the way that they went about. I had no idea that she went back to the scene to check the harnesses and who the riggers were, and like all the details were completely. I just sat there and was like, "Oh, this is so nuts, dude! Like this is so nuts, right?"
Yeah. So I saw the episode. I mean, I kind of knew I saw the episode last night. I didn't watch it live, but I kind of saw on Wednesday morning all the. Which she is, because she doesn't want a company that in her mind and in many people's mind is the cause of Owen's death due to neglect and negligence on what they were doing. And she doesn't want them profiting from it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I can't imagine. And I wrote, and I never responded to these things, and I did. And I wrote, how can you? I'm like, you don't know what kind of position this woman's in. She could do whatever the hell she wants. She lost her husband. They were together since they were 15 years old. Her husband dies in this horrific death in front of 20,000 people. And the company decides to continue the show. And she finds out in a very bizarre way. And then they use footage of the funeral on TV. Like, just terrible. And she's like, these people are sick and I'm not going to support them. Listen, she got a tremendous settlement from this company. She got about $18 million in 2013. And she took a lot of that money and she started the Owen Hart Foundation, and she did a lot in the name of Owen that is not discussed too often. She took care of 2 small kids, 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. And these people are just, they're angry that you can't get Owen content. And I went down this rabbit hole, dude. And for years, she's been villainized. For years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a weird, like, I think, like, obviously, when Vice does these Dark Side of Wrestling episodes, this one was an interesting focus on, like, a more, like, kind of obscure but weird side of a story, that always floated around. Of course, you're going to get, like, the Montreal
Oh, Rich froze here. He's probably going to come back in a second here. But while we get Rich back, I mean, just to kind of think about this, how do you justify, as a fan, right? Like, to think about this as a fan. Vince, it's not about taking the blame, right? Like,
Good job.
Hold on, you totally broke up, dude. Nope, hang on. Let me try to get Rich back. I don't know why. Oh, Rich, you there?
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, you totally dropped out. I don't know if your VPN's on or not.
No, I was terrified because they're doing a lot of construction across the street, and I'm like, oh, great, they hit the cable wire.
You want to start again because we got none of that.
Okay, so basically, this episode of Dark Side of the Ring was a little more fascinating because this was extremely real, right? And I forgot who said it in the piece, but it was like when fantasy meets like hard reality, this is exactly what happened, you know?
Yeah.
And going into it, everybody pretty much was like, he shouldn't have been doing this to begin with. Like, why was this asked of him? You know?
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It is. So there's a lot of misconceptions. Like the riggers were the people that did stings, but it wasn't. The clip that they used. The original story was that Owen hit the release by himself, and Martha's. I don't know the exact thing, but Martha says that's not true. They were going to move the trial. She wanted the trial in Kansas City because you could get punitive punishment on the company, and Vince wanted it in Connecticut and make it a civil thing. So it was bad. It was really bad. I can't blame Martha for anything. She did nothing wrong. She's the one that's suffering more than anything else. And it seems like, to me, the thing that really drove her nuts is the fact that WWE continued to show. And you got to remember, like, if this happened today, how they could never continue a show, or would they? Do you think they would continue a show today if one of their top? I'm not saying top, but one of their most recognizable names died in the ring?
So let's go into that a little bit. Let's explore that situation. I mean, it's a terrible situation, but the one thing that they touched on in that episode of Dark Side of the Ring was that this was a crime scene, and they moved a dead body that plummeted to the ground, and there's blood on the ground, and the boards in the ring were broken, right?
Yeah. That's
a crime scene. The cops should have immediately just shut down the venue, give everybody refunds, say, listen, we need to investigate this ASAP, you know? And this was in 1999. I think in 2020, 21 years later, you would get more of a hands-on, like, everything's getting shut down, we're on the scene, nobody move, you know?
That's the best point there, Rich. I think you hit that's something that's never discussed, and the fact that how does somebody plummet 80 feet to their death in front of 20,000 people, and there's no crime scene.
Right.
Oh, he was dead when they took him out of that ring. He was practically they were trying to resuscitate him, but he was gone at that point. How do you not look at this and say maybe someone pushed him, maybe somebody manipulated? I'm not saying that that's what happened, right? But as an investigator, you have to immediately look at those things.
Right.
You can't just say, like, oh, okay, let's just move the body out and continue a show. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, listen, the heat did not come down on them like it would today.
No, not at all. It's like seeing JR's perspective too was very, like, off-putting, especially just like what he was saying, and then him telling the story about how he hears Kevin Dunn on the microphone saying, oh, by the way, we're back in like 10, 9, giving him the countdown.
Yeah.
You know? I don't think that stuff would fly at all today. And that's just like it's like the most carny thing to react in the way they did, right?
Listen, and not to defend WWE, right? But
No, not at all.
Maybe the shock of what's going on, you're not prepared for something like this either.
Right. But I do think like it's a carny business, and for the most part, and especially in the late 90s, and then just to have that like, oh, there's nothing to see here, there's nothing to see here mentality was just a mistake,
Yeah. What a devastating moment in the history of pro wrestling. It's just crazy how I mean, just thinking about the fact that, like, I know, like, Jim Ross's comment was kind of to maybe egg on Kevin Dunn a little bit, but I don't. The fact that they continued the show is nuts, right? It's crazy. It's just nuts.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't look at them and say. I actually have a very I know a lot of people don't like this, but I have a very good understanding of people not reacting the best in like tragedy, right? Like when something tragic happens, for like looking at it the next day, you could say they shouldn't have ran the show, but at the moment, the panic and the chaos and the craziness, like you don't know how to react, and there's so many different elements that come into play where, yes, part of it is the show must go on, right? That's the mentality. And then you're thinking, you got all these people in the audience, and there's so many different elements that the decision maker has to make, and that person is Vince, obviously. And, he didn't make the right call. But I don't necessarily think that that's where the problem is here. I think the problem is just a combination of everything.
Right. It's very heavy. It's a very heavy thing to talk about and think about. I can't imagine like how that production came about. Especially talking with Martha and Oj, and Owen's daughter also. Just reliving that. It's one of the most unfortunate things to happen in wrestling, for sure.
Yeah, the hatred they have towards wrestling is interesting though. By the way, and then that understandably, but that family got torn apart from this because. A lot of, people say, like, why did she settle? A lot of that had to do with pressure from the family. There was a lot of pressure from the Hart family on Martha to settle and to make this not as big and let it go away a little bit because you got a family dynasty of pro wrestlers. You either married a wrestler or you are a wrestler, and you all work for Vince at some capacity. So there was a ton of pressure coming on. So, listen, I understand why she reacted the way. I don't understand so much hatred towards this woman for trying to do the right thing for her family. That I actually was caught off guard. I knew there was a little bit of it. I had no idea it was this much.
Yeah, wrestling fans a lot of wrestling fans oddly treat her like the Yoko Ono of wrestling.
Yeah. Shocking. Anyway, I thought it was, but very good job by Dark Side of the Ring this season.
Yeah.
They did a great job. At listen, they tried to tell the whole Owen Hart story in 45 minutes. I think it would have been better if they did a two-parter, maybe made this the season premiere next year, and you could have told the whole beginning story of Owen's career. They kind of glossed over a lot of parts. Also, something to remember, that Bret Hart match at WrestleMania 10, Owen and Bret, my God, what an underrated match.
Oh, so great.
So good. And you know what's great about that match? The dynamic of two brothers. And Bret did everything to make Owen look unbelievable.
Absolutely. That was such a great match. What was the headliner of WrestleMania 10? Was it Hogan or was it Sid and Taker?
No.
I don't remember.
That's Sid and Taker was after that. WrestleMania 10. Let's see. Well, you had the ladder match, right? That was a big match. That's one everybody remembers. I think that's why the ladder match overshadowed the Bret Owen match. Bret defeated Yoko for the WWE title. That was the main event.
Okay.
With Roddy Piper as a special guest referee.
So Bret did double duty at WrestleMania 10?
Dude, yeah. That was a tournament, right? They had that tournament with Luger. Because remember, Luger and Bret both got eliminated at the same time for the Rumble.
You have such a good memory for this stuff.
I do. It's bizarre. I don't have a memory for anything other than this, actually.
How
Owen
about we
versus
take a
Brett.
breath and let's get silly?
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see. Owen versus Brett was the first match, went 20 minutes. Bam Bam Bigelow defeated Doink and Dink. It was Bam Bam and Luna. Randy Savage's last WrestleMania against Crush.
Yeah.
Alondra Blaze versus Leilani Kai, men on a mission, and defeated the Quebecers. Yoko defeated Lex Luger by DQ. Earthquake defeated Adam Bomb. Razor Ramon defeated Shawn Michaels in that ladder match, which is unbelievable. And Brett versus Yoko.
Also, yesterday was the 9th anniversary of the Macho Man's passing.
It was.
Effing bizarre.
Very bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Very bizarre. AEW last night, decent go home show. I gotta tell you,
Decent go home show.
You
A lot of
loved
fun.
it. You loved it, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
I
didn't love it. Did you love it, or you thought it was fine?
I thought it was great. I enjoyed it a whole lot. Let me tell you something. I didn't even watch Raw this week. I turned it on for 2 seconds and went,
It was not good.
No.
It was not good.
No. And yesterday I was flipping a little bit back and forth between AEW and NXT, but I really enjoyed it. I think we're seeing like the oddball fans start to turn on AEW a little bit because like pretty much like almost everything I was tweeting out yesterday, a few people were just like disagreeing and saying that this was like a garbage go home show. I don't think so, man. I think the last 10 minutes were fantastic. Adam Page's 100-yard clothesline. Forget it. That was great. But it set up, I think, perfectly for Saturday. You know, it did its job, right?
Yeah. I on paper, the show was great. But imagine if there was a crowd and how the reaction would have been for a lot of these things. This is the problem that both WWE and AEW are suffering from, and NXT as well. NXT the most, to be honest. I think the NXT stock has plummeted tremendously since AEW. They've been going head-to-head with AEW. I would imagine the best thing for them is to move the show to Tuesdays for now.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you why. The reason why they're not on Tuesdays is because, first of all, they want to screw AEW, and that kind of backfired on them. But they like to keep that Tuesday spot open just in case Fox moves them to Tuesdays.
Right.
So, there is that concept that they might move. Fox renewed them on Fridays for another year. You know, for the day, not a cancellation for the show, but kept them for the fall schedule for Friday. So why not move NXT to Tuesdays? And now you know what that number is on that day. You know that there are most likely 1.5 million to 2 million wrestling fans that are interested to watch live on Wednesday night to some extent. Why not? I would say, you know what? Let me change that. I think it's 1.5 million. So you got 1.5 million. So if you're doing 800,000 people per show, that's a nice chunk for a Tuesday for USA.
So do you think if they move to Tuesday, the numbers would just get bigger because there's no visual competition? Because you're looking at kind of like a split thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're splitting that number regardless, and you're having people bounce back and forth. The notion that AEW fans aren't watching NXT or NXT fans aren't watching AEW, that's not true at all. People are bouncing. Yeah, obviously NXT has a stronger 50 plus, and AEW has a stronger 18 to 34 or 18 to 40, whatever they're doing. You're hurting the product by keeping it on Wednesdays, and I think right now they won't do it because that's a loss. They'll look at that as losing, but for the fans, I would love it to be on Tuesday. I hate doing the double duty thing.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a Monday Night Wars and you're flipping, but you don't need to do that anymore.
Right. You can DVR, you can chill. You don't got to flip. You don't got to flip to anything. I mean, I flip just a little bit, like here and there in the commercials.
But what are you
I like to keep up with it. I'm usually staying on AEW.
Yeah, me too.
Because, it's still new. What they've done during the quarantine has been great. It's fun. The match quality has been pretty excellent so far, right? Storyline's pretty good. It just feels a little fresher. I want to say it does feel nicer, right? Than because I feel like there's that perception with WWE where they are the corporate tyrants, right?
Sure.
And I think you don't get that with AEW at this point because everybody's kind of working their ass off and they have no restraints as far as like, go out there and this is how your match is going to go. Right. And I thought of that yesterday during the Kushida match. And I think it's safe to say that we're both big fans of Kushida, right?
He's unbelievable. I mean, what a talent that guy is.
But where do you see him like going from here?
Kushida, I don't know. And that's the biggest thing.
Right.
Like NXT. So here's the thing, right? And I'd love to get the opinion of the guys in the chat for this. I'm a fan of pro wrestling. I'm not a fan of a brand, right? And I don't.
Right.
I love WWE. I love the product that they create a lot of the time. Right now, they're in a really bad situation, and I'm not looking. I don't hold their ratings against them. I don't hold their lack of creativity against them at this moment. They are trying something in a terrible situation where you have no audience, where majority of what they do relies on an audience. Everything they do relies on an audience.
Yeah.
The way they work relies on an audience. The way they talk relies on an audience. So it's going to be awkward. It's not going to be good. AEW, on the other hand, has taken the model and they've experimented because they can. They can make mistakes. You know, like you said, WWE is the established entity. They are the driving force. It is harder for them to pivot. It is harder for them because there's so much bureaucracy and there's such a complex level of coming up with ideas. You know, it's a weird system. Like, it's not 4 guys and Tony Khan. It's a writing team. It's producers. It's agents. It's it's a multiple plethora of people they got to work with. So AEW has the advantage where they could pivot, they could shift quicker, and they can make changes because the negative outcome is far less for them compared to WWE.
It's at this point, it's constantly evolving. It's still evolving. It hasn't even been a year yet. And you're getting kind of like new things. And sometimes when stuff doesn't work, they take it off TV. You know, like when they were doing the, I think it was the Nightmare Collective with Brandy, right?
It didn't work.
And that kind of fell through. And they were just like, yeah, you know what? Let's move on. You can do that, you know, as opposed to WWE where they will hold on for dear life to something that is completely falling apart that they think will work. It's almost like a joke, right?
Yeah. By the way, I do want to say with on the AEW side, like, you want to talk? Let's talk about the product. Like, Transferring Heat mentioned Brody Lee in the chat room. I agree with him on this. I'm not crazy about how I didn't like how they used them this week. I think a lot of his weakness. I'll tell you what happened, and I don't blame him. Right? I think he got exposed, and that's the worst thing you could do in wrestling is exposing the talent. He's never been a promo guy, right? And this guy's been on a great trajectory with his promos, his new character, his confidence, his promos. But he's still a guy that's not a promo guy, right or wrong? Do you agree with me so far?
I think he's a guy that has the potential to be a great promo guy, and he's getting his feet under him.
So now you have the audience, right? And the audience is a lot of the people in the back. Throughout his promo, they're screaming, they're yelling. He's hearing everything that they're saying, and he was getting really distracted by it. If you watch,
they threw him off?
They did throw him off. His pacing totally got thrown off because he was trying to. I think what happened, he got distracted, and he tried to cover it up at first, and he tried to play with them and telling them to shut up, whatever. And it's not just noise; it's actual words that you're hearing now. Because it's not 20,000 or 10,000 or 5,000 or 1,000 people yelling. It's like 20, and you could focus in on. He really lost that promo on me. It fell apart, and obviously that's you exposed his weakness a little bit, and he's going to get better. But I think he's really suffered from the lack of the audience. His debut should have been humongous. The heat with Jon Moxley should have been tremendous. But really, what are you going to do? You can't stop the program. You got to do it.
Right. My counterpoint to that is look at that quick turnaround for the evolution of the Dark Order. You know, you went from guys in sweatsuits and floppy masks to actually having more of a sound stable. I think that's the positive of this whole thing.
Yeah. No, listen, I want to see what they do, and I'm really curious what they've cut back without having the audience. Like, what were some of the plans that were playing into this? Obviously, the Jericho, the Inner Circle, and the Elite stuff, the payoff was gonna be that cage match.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not happening right now. So they're doing that brawl at the 50-yard line. The ring is going to be set up, which is cool. I mean, it's different. A lot of smoke and mirrors here, but you know, everything got thrown off for everybody. So I'm not holding anything against any of them when it comes to their product right now, because this is very difficult. NXT, on the other hand, the stock of NXT started plummeting long before this. And
right.
do you think it's because they're going up against a new product? You know, it's the new girl in town, the new boy in town. You got the hots for him. He's an athlete. He looks good. So now you're interested in him rather than the really stable one that you were really dating before? Or do you think it's
got a mohawk?
This one's got a mohawk. Yeah, AEW's got
and
a
chain wallet.
And a chain wallet. Yeah, and Janko jeans. Can he wear Jankos?
Janko jeans.
In 2020.
Camo cargo shorts.
In 2020. Do you think NXT has fallen because of AEW being, I guess I'm going to use this term loosely, cooler, or do you think it's because going to TV and adding another hour didn't translate so well?
Can you repeat that? You kind of cut off right there.
Do you think AEW is doing better as far as perception goes because it's newer and cooler, or do you think they're doing better because NXT TV has suffered for the 2 hour, since going to 2 hours?
I think it's a combination of both. I think they keep it fresh and they keep introducing and reintroducing other characters and letting guys shine a little bit, and you can tell at this point, like, who they're really going to be focusing on. Darby Allin, Hangman, Sammy Guevara, right?
Yeah.
As far as the tags go, you have tons of great tag teams, and I'm excited for the company again because it's fresh and it is cool. And as a wrestling fan and a wrestling podcaster, I like that there's two different shows on Wednesday night, But I think like we were talking about before, that WWE mentality of like, we need to force this down your throat is hurting not only Raw and SmackDown, but definitely NXT. I think NXT, if they didn't lose in the ratings and get on network TV, I guarantee you that product that was streaming, that would have been streaming on the network, would have been a billion times better.
Yeah, I agree with you. We
got $5 from Aaron Banks.
What's the question or the statement? You want to read it?
A statement. I like watching the pay-per-view live stream with you guys, but I find it difficult to watch any wrestling right now with no crowd during the week.
Aaron Banks, thank you so much for that. Listen, dude,
thanks,
I get it. It's not easy. It's not an easy watch, and you shouldn't watch something that you're not enjoying. I mean,
right.
That's the thing. Like, don't feel bad that you're not enjoying AEW. Don't feel bad that you're not liking NXT, or you need to defend why you don't like something. And dude, you don't like it. You don't like it. That's cool.
Yeah, that's it. Who cares?
Just
if you disagree, you disagree. That's cool, dude.
Yeah, if you like,
exactly.
If someone's loving something, don't go and shit on what they love. Don't shit on.
Well, I think
what was the line?
Don't shit in my mouth.
Don't shit on my Oreos, bro.
Don't yuck my yum.
Don't yuck my yum. You don't yuck my yum.
That was the one. I think there's a way to disagree with somebody, but there's also a way to be a complete douche about it and be like, well, actually, let me tell you why you're wrong, which I think anybody who's a fan of anything does perpetually.
Yeah. AEW Double or Nothing. This was going to take place in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand, but we are doing this in Jacksonville. So they're going to be doing it at the same venue they've been doing all the shows on, which is a great venue for them to have. And that they have an advantage there over WWE and NXT with this. Let's go down this card. Some of the stuff has changed, obviously, but here is the card, and this is going to be fascinating. You have Dustin Rhodes versus Shawn Spears. By the way, we are doing a watch-along on Saturday, so I'll be with you guys Saturday, probably before the show. Rich, are you joining me on this?
Oh, I'm gonna join you, buddy.
Oh,
We gotta figure this one out. We're gonna take some phone calls.
Listen, if you want to come by here, I'm done with quarantining.
I'm gonna eat my spaghetti. I'm gonna eat spaghetti all night.
On the air?
Mhm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I'm not done with
long
quarantining.
noodles.
I'm not coming near anybody until June 1st.
I'm over all this.
At the earliest.
I'm over it. I'm not doing a mask. I'm
I
not
don't
doing
know
any
where-
of it. I'm done.
I don't know where you've been. I don't know where Deacon's been.
Deacon's been
I don't know
a
where
lot of
Deacon
places.
I don't know where Deacon the Seinfeld has been.
Deacon the Seinfeld.
we
Dustin
call him after Noah?
Rhodes versus Sean Spears. Deacon Seinfeld. I love that.
No, Deacon the Seinfeld.
Deacon does. Yeah, I love it. Dustin Rhodes versus Sean Spears in a singles match. You have Private Party in the pre-show match. Private Party versus the Best Friends. I have 5,000 messages coming on my phone from
It's gonna be fun.
the Citizen app. I'm sure some guy in Bayside has lost his mind and is running nude in the streets, and they're letting me know. Dr.
Bob
Britt
said he had
Baker-
to leave, so maybe it was him.
Maybe it was him. Britt Baker DMD versus Chris Stratlander. Britt Baker took a nasty fall.
Yeah.
Nyla Rose fell on her leg, and I don't know. She did not look great after that. So we'll see what happens with this. So let me go through the card here. Sorry. I'll go in order. So you got Private Party versus the Best Friends in the pre-show matches to determine the number 1 contender for the tag team championship. Dustin Rhodes versus Sean Spears in a singles match. Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida. I don't know why I have a problem reading the name. In a no DQ, no count out AEW Women's World Title match. You got Darby Allin versus Colt Cabana versus Orange Cassidy, Rey Fenix, Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, Frankie Kazarian, Luchasaurus, and Turnbuckle Al in a casino ladder match.
Who do you think Turnbuckle Al is?
I don't know, dude. I was thinking about that. Is there anybody that pops up here?
Who's free that could be in this?
Well, here's the thing. Who do you think will win? Right? Do any of these guys seem like a number 1 contender? Like, I would say Luchasaurus winning would be really cool.
That would be cool. Rey Fenix winning would be cool. I would like to see Rey versus. Go ahead.
How about you ready?
I got two wild ones for you too.
I got it. Brian Cage.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Brian Cage.
You kind of deflated me with that.
Did I? I'm so sorry, man. Who do you have?
No, it's fine. I'm not saying mine are better, but I don't know if travel restrictions have been eased, but I got 1 or 2 picks for you. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Kota Ibushi,
Okay.
Tanahashi.
I don't think any of them.
Because you still have that unfinished Jericho thing.
You do have that unfinished Jericho thing. I think they'll do that eventually.
And there's still the Japanese connection with Moxley.
I don't know. I don't think they'll do it for this. You think Kota Ibushi should be put in this match?
I don't know. I feel like that would be like
strong.
that's just a wild guess, dude.
No, listen, dude. I would love that to happen.
But who's available? Brian Cage is available, right?
Brian Cage is available. Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to see that guy get on a ladder.
He's so big.
Yeah, big dudes on ladders make me very, very uncomfortable. Maybe it's Dr. Luther.
Maybe it's some. Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's somebody that nobody cares about. But I'm gonna go with Brian Cage here. That's gonna be my pick.
That's gonna be your pick. Is he your pick to win?
Yeah, I think the TBA. If it is something, yeah, I'm gonna go with him to win.
Okay. This is a tough one. I would say Rey Fenix. I think if Mox retains, a Rey Fenix Mox match would be pretty dope. A Darby Allin Mox match would be pretty good because they have like a little bit of a history.
Scorpio Sky.
I think
Kip Sabian. No, Kip Sabian definitely not.
Colt is the underdog in this, I think, but I do think Colt is getting a little more serious. He hit a giant moonsault yesterday.
Yes, he did. You
know
what? You know who it's gonna be?
Who?
Hold on. No,
you okay?
Never mind. No, never mind. Never mind. I was counting days. I was off.
Count the days.
I was counting days. You got MJF
Zack
Jungle
Ryder.
Boy It could,
Mhm.
yeah, I was gonna go with him, but totally off on the days.
Mm-hmm.
MJF, Jungle Boy, John Moxley versus Brody Lee for the AEW title. You got Cody versus Lance Archer
Mhm.
for the AEW TNT Championship, with Mike Tyson presenting the champion. So Mike Tyson's gonna punch somebody, right? Who's he knocking out?
Everybody.
Who's he
I think he's
punching?
knocking out. I think he's
Jake
going to end up
Roberts?
knocking out all of the inner circle.
Every one of them. Oh, dude, that'd be
Mhm.
great. And
Just
then you
line
got
them
the
all
big,
up.
and then you got the big stadium stampede with Matt Hardy and the Elite versus the Inner Circle. Do we see the Revival make their debut?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think if they got interjected into the tag match for the #1 contendership, that would be cool. I think we're going to see the return of Vanguard 1 in some form during the Stampede match.
Oh man, there's so much they could do with this.
This is a
So
good
much
card, man.
It is a good card.
It's a really good card. Did you want to see Arn and Jake at least do some kind of street fight angle?
I want to see them do something. I don't want them to have a match. I want them to do
Right.
something though.
Just get into it.
Just get into it. Yeah. Just something. None of them could. I mean, I guess Arn could take a bump. Jake definitely can't.
Imagine if Arn and Tully just teamed up on Jake for like 2 seconds.
I cannot believe Arn and Tully are there, and Jake Roberts.
Mhm.
They're managers. I think that they're utilizing these guys really well. You know,
It's
they're
a
taking
it's a
legend.
good throwback.
It is a great throwback, and they're not making them look weak to heighten the other guys. They're making them look,
Okay.
they're building talent rather than looking weak to build talent, which I find interesting. Yeah, so that's the card. Do you want to go through who your wins are quickly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I think somebody in the chat room mentioned Pentagon for TBA, which I think would be really awesome.
Oh, Pentagon for TBA. Yeah, that could be
Yeah.
a good one because he's not on the card.
Pentagon versus Mox. Pentagon versus Mox would be ridiculous.
How about Joey Janela?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because he has a feud with Kip Sabian.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's go through it real quick. We'll just
Let's
say
do it.
like who's winning and who's not.
Yeah, let's do
All
it.
right, Cody Lance.
I'm gonna go Cody.
I'm gonna go Cody also.
Okay.
MJF Jungle Boy.
I'm gonna go Jungle Boy.
Actually, no, I take that back. It's gonna be Lance.
You gonna go Lance? Okay.
I'm gonna go Lance. I'm gonna say Jungle Boy.
Because this is why I say
Mhm.
Jungle Boy. I think it's gonna give more heat on MJF by losing to Jungle Boy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it helps him lose. Him losing helps his character more than winning does.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like he's a great heel. I think it works. The Wardlow situation is very interesting. I want to see what that guy could do. I like that he's pretty dominant in the ring, man.
Yeah.
He pulls it off, right?
Yeah.
Mox versus Brody Lee.
Mox versus Brody Lee. I'm going Mox.
Mox, same here. Ladder match.
The ladder match, I'm gonna go with. It's hard to tell because we don't know who Turnbuckle Al is, but I'll go with Turnbuckle Al.
I'm gonna go with Turnbuckle Al, and I'm gonna go way out of left field and say Colt Cabana.
Okay. If it's not Turnbuckle Al, I'll go with Luchasaurus.
Okay. Nyla Rose and Hikaru Shida.
I'm gonna go Nyla.
I'm gonna go Hikaru Shida.
Okay.
Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander.
I'm gonna go Britt Baker.
Agreed. I'm gonna go Britt Baker. Private Party versus Best Friend.
Let's go Private Party.
I'm gonna say Private Party also, unless there's somebody else added to this match.
Okay.
Let's say the Elite versus the Inner Circle. There might be something wacky here, right?
I think there is something wacky here. I think Inner Circle takes it.
Me too.
I think Inner Circle
cool.
takes it, but there's something. There's going to be something.
It's cool if the Elite doesn't win. They don't have to win.
They don't have to win. I think I would prefer Inner Circle to win.
Okay. Dustin versus Sean Spears.
I'll go with Sean.
I'm gonna go Dustin on that one.
Okay.
I think there's gonna.
Sean
I think
should win it.
I think yeah. I think Dustin's gonna win it, and he's gonna be a bloody mess again.
All right. I like the picks. Here.
Good picks.
Guys,
Good picks.
submit your viewer questions in the chat. There's going to be a lot of questions coming in. Send it now, and we're going to prepare to answer your questions. It could go from anything from old school wrestling to the current product, WWE, AEW, NJPW. Just send your questions our way. So, I mean, it was a fine card. It was good. We also have In Your House building up for NXT, which I'm very excited for. I love the fact that they're bringing back these retro shows. Maybe they'll do a Halloween Havoc show next. Somebody needs to do Halloween Havoc. I don't understand why we don't have Halloween Havoc.
That's a good question because WWE owns it, right?
WWE owns it, yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's just like they don't want to go. They have that weird problem of like not bringing the retro stuff back only when it suits them. Like they did that like Starcade Live thing for a couple of years,
but now it's like a thing, right? They're doing that every year now.
Yeah, which I think they're just using the name with nothing behind it. I feel like when they do the Saudi shows, that should be called Starcade.
I think that should be called Halloween Havoc. Can you imagine?
That'd be so great. We'll just call it Halloween Havoc.
What is this?
The only match announced for and In Your House is Ciampa versus Karrion Kross, which I feel like is going to be a really good match.
I was on the phone with Matt Ryan yesterday, and I told him that I don't know how the conversation happened. Oh, because it's possible that the Saudis are going to put on a Tyson fight, right? And we were talking about something else, and we went into that. And there were rumors that it was just rumors at the time that it's going to be Holyfield Tyson 3 in Riyadh. And I'm like, I kind of think like that the Saudis have this bizarre 90s fetish where they just want to bring back, like they want to do all these like weird 90s things. And then I was like, what are they going to do? Like, I want them to start remaking 90s like movies, like the Ernest movies. I want to see like Ernest Goes to Mecca. I just want to see like weird, like all these 90s movies getting remade in Saudi Arabia going forward.
Pitch me the plot to Ernest Goes to Mecca, please.
So he gets on the plane and he thinks he's going to like an island, right? He's like, somebody tells him like, oh, you should come to Mecca. I'll give you tickets. And he's thinking like, it's like a Polynesian island.
Do you think he's going to like, do you think Ernest thinks he's going to like a mechanics convention?
No. He thinks Mecca is like an island. He thinks like it's like an island, like, and then you could see like the thought bubble going, and he's like fantasizing about like this beautiful woman fanning him and giving him like margaritas on the beach, and I can see it already. He has his nose, the sunscreen on his nose laying there, and he's on the plane, and he has no idea where he's going, and he gets off, and he's like in the middle of insanity.
Were you a big Ernest fan when you were a kid?
Hated him, man. He made me so uncomfortable. I never got the appeal.
Why?
Never got.
You thought he was talking to you?
I thought he was talking.
I always thought. Dude. Why?
It was his jaw.
Was it Jim Varney, or was it the character, or just like you just didn't like because he was like a weird hillbilly?
All of it together. He thinks it's MSG, but he mistakenly flies to Mecca.
I think Deegan should be Seinfeld and you should be Ernest. I want to see you in see you in that hat.
Listen, they could do a Weekend at Bernie's.
With Ernest in. Oh man.
No, with the journalists that they murder in that country.
Oh boy. All right. Yeah. Let's take some questions.
All right. Questions.
Andrew, how many Macho Man shirts do you own?
I own
Jonathan.
Four of them. I own a purple one, I own a green one, and I own 2 gray ones.
Wow. 4.
Yeah.
They're all the same?
It's all the same.
They're like the same thing on the chest.
Well, no, the purple one and this one are the same exact look, but the other ones I've cut off the sleeves.
Okay. But they're the same. It's the same design on the chest.
The same design on the chest, yes.
It doesn't matter if it doesn't have any sleeves. It's the same
sleeves, but same design.
What's your favorite McDonald's breakfast sandwich?
I hate McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. I hate fast food breakfast.
And you hate Star Wars too.
I don't. Yes, I do hate Star Wars. I hate Star Wars. I'm gonna say it.
I know why you hate. I know why you hate Star Wars, which is it's a valid reason.
Yes,
it's a valid reason for you to hate Star Wars. I feel like if I had the same
story.
situation.
If you ask me on Saturday, I'll tell the story why I hate Star Wars on the air.
Oh, you have to do the voices too.
Yeah. I'll do the voices.
I think mine is a tie. It's the sausage egg McMuffin or the sausage McGriddle. Because you ever have a McGriddle? No, you hate breakfast sandwiches.
I have. No.
McGriddle
I've had them all.
You just don't like them.
I try them. I try to like it. Don't like any of them. It gives me terrible agita.
That's interesting.
I get horrible heartburn from it.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Ciampa is facing Cross for Cross's first feud. Yes or no? You like it or not?
Say that again.
Ciampa facing Cross for Cross's first feud. Yay or nay?
Yay. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
I like it a lot.
Let's see what we got here. Should NXT redo the NXT theme song, "In Your House, Kids" to a rock version?
Yeah, I love it. Let's read. Yeah, they need to make that thing so 90s out. Has to be.
Absolutely. I would love it to be so 90s out, like classic HBK. Maybe Mankind shows up.
Yeah.
Josh asks, what game would Enchante stream on Twitch?
Very easy. He would just play weird anime games, like the sexualized anime games.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the girls, like almost like hentai art, right? Like the girls, like with the big boobs and the butts out, like the big butts and the big boobs. That's what he would play constantly. And it'd be a card game. It wouldn't even be like a real game. It'd just be like a card game,
like a virtual poker type thing.
Yes, but with no. Like you know, like those card games now that they have. It's like Magic. What's the big one? He's
not streaming a video game.
What's the big one everybody's playing?
Magic the Gathering, I guess.
Yu-Gi-Oh? No, the big card game that everybody plays.
I don't know what you're talking about. Inuyasha?
The one.
It's Magic the Gathering, dude.
No, not like an actual card game, but like a digital card game. Hearthstone, Hearthstone. He would play Hearthstone. Yeah, is that it? Is that a thing? Is that a thing?
Heatstone. He's played Heatstone. I would say, like, as soon as I saw that question, I'm like, oh, he's definitely playing Leisure Suit Larry.
That is a thing.
And he's naked. He's naked, but on the stream, you have the controller. Enchante has a controller in front of his genitals, so he's not technically naked because he's covering up, but you're just playing Leisure Suit Larry for 24 hours straight.
Love it. Hearthstone
racking up them.
That's what he would play.
Okay. Heatstone. I like Heatstone.
Heatstone.
I lost my place here. I gotta go back up. What's
Rewind.
next with Bailey and Sasha?
It looks like they're gonna do something together, right?
Yeah,
that's where we're at.
Tag belts again.
I don't know. I what do you do with Sasha Banks at this point? I don't know what the answer is, right? Because fascinatingly enough, she came back and they've done nothing with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like zero, and that's I don't know why. There has to be a reason what's going on there.
I think not. I don't want to see anybody get fired, but I think release Sasha Banks and then bring her back 3 years later.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'm okay. Listen, I think she could do a lot anywhere else. But I'm gonna guess that she's gonna turn on Bailey, and they're gonna or Bailey's gonna turn on Sasha, become the babyface. Sasha will be the babyface and beat her at SummerSlam for the title.
Okay. Do you believe Sasha is a babyface?
No, because I think she has that Randy Orton thing where I think she actually hates the fans, and she's so much better as a heel. I don't think she enjoys. Yeah.
Career heel? All right.
Yeah, career heel.
Interesting. Bachelor 3000 asks, who's your favorite Southern wrestler, past or present? I'm going to go Dusty.
First. You're going to go Dusty?
Yeah, Dusty.
Favorite Southern wrestler, past or present? It's a great question. Obviously, Jerry Lawler, right? He has to be up there. Dusty.
Sure.
Flair. Do you consider Flair a Southern wrestler?
That's a good question. I'm gonna say he hovers because he was so global, right?
Flair doesn't count as that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's so many of those guys. Like,
Ricky Morton.
Ricky Morton. Another. There's a lot.
Mhm.
There's a lot of those names that we don't even like recognize, right?
Yeah. There's tons.
Let me. I need
The Freebirds.
Southern Wrestling Hall of Fame. Let's see who's in here.
Mhm.
Slick is in here. Is he a Southern wrestler? Tim Storm
Sure.
got in. Dr. Death Steve Williams is considered a Southern wrestler.
Mhm.
The Von Erichs, I guess, right? If you consider Terry Gordy,
Mhm.
Stan Hansen, great. Terry Funk, right? Terry Funk, great
Yeah.
Southern wrestler. This list is fascinating. Rodney Mack is in the Hall of Fame of great Southern wrestlers. This is a bizarre list. Like the Fullers were really instrumental in wrestling.
Mhm.
I like the Memphis Territories ones because they're so hokey. Tommy Rich,
Yes.
great Southern wrestler.
Sure. Yeah.
Wildfire Tommy Rich. All those guys.
It was just
Beautiful
for
Bobby.
One. I'm going Dusty.
Beautiful Bobby Eaton is my pick.
Okay.
Go
Large 23 asks, do you think calling the Orton versus Edge the greatest wrestling match ever is setting the bar too high?
Dude, okay, can we talk about this for a minute? The fact that the term wrestling, right, is now a stipulation in a match.
Right? We gotta
think
wrestle.
about that. They've been saying wrestling and wrestling. They're going to have possibly the greatest wrestling match. What have we been doing up until now? So what makes it a wrestling match? The gimmick is that it's a wrestling match. So what makes it a wrestling match?
Long holds, chain wrestling, a lot of mat work.
Right? What makes it a wrestling match? It's all a wrestling match. So are we going to see, exactly like you said, are we going to see a lot of holds and just an old school wrestling match? Because I would say, you know what was a great wrestling match? Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak.
Yes.
That was a great wrestling match last week.
I kind of want them to up it to like an Iron Man match.
I think maybe we're leading into this. I think we'll eventually lead into something. Right? We had the street brawl. Now we're having the wrestling match. And what's the blow off?
The blow off is going to be a steel cage match.
Steel cage. I mean, SummerSlam would be the blow off, I guess.
2 out of 3 fall steel cage.
I don't know. I find it so bizarre on how they keep saying wrestling match, and you can see that that's a Paul Heyman thing. Paul convinced Vince. He's like, no, let's call it a wrestling match. You know, they're not having a regular match. They're having a wrestling match. Just weird, really weird.
It's a little bizarre. Whatever.
Yeah.
They gave didn't they do they keep adding the greatest things to everything, right? Just like the fascination with the word big. Like in Saudi Arabia, didn't you have like the greatest Royal Rumble and then the tournament to crown the greatest tag team?
The greatest everything.
Like it's the greatest everything. It's like that episode of Seinfeld. Everything's great, right?
When
it's
can
not.
we run a show in Saudi Arabia?
I don't know.
I'm curious here.
It's gonna have to be next year, right?
I don't know. Maybe this year. Probably this year. Saudi Arabia right now has 351 deaths total, and they've had 12 cases like a day. So they're
oh wow,
they're not really suffering from this. So if they're looking to put on like a big event, I think they're gonna head back over there. Maybe we could have the greatest wrestling match part 2 over there.
Oh man, crazy.
Yeah.
Who do you think is gonna win the tournament for the cruiserweight belt? Kushida, Drake, or Atlas? I'm gonna go with Kushida on this one. I hope they do something with Kushida.
I really hope they do something with Kushida. Listen, he was a great junior heavyweight, right? In New Japan. Yeah. So
he's multiple time junior champion, right?
You know, here's the thing with that title, right? Like, how do you look at what they've done with, let me see, WWE
The lineage? You're gonna like the lineage?
I'm looking at the lineage because I want to see. They're calling it the NXT title now, right?
NXT Cruiserweight title?
Yeah, they're calling it the NXT Cruiserweight title. So, does this have a different lineage than the previous? Or is this the
I
same
think the
lineage?
205 title is the lineage.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
the 205, yeah, that's the lineage. Okay, so you had TJP, right? The first champion. But in reality, it was not going to be him.
Okay.
It was supposed to be Kota
Ibushi?
Ibushi.
Right.
He was supposed to be the first. So then you had... So he held it 46 days.
Can I interrupt for a
TJP.
second?
Yeah.
In retrospect, how over the moon are you that Kota Ibushi told him to F off and just left?
I know. He was like,
In
no,
retrospect.
I'm not signing a contract.
Like, you guys are stupid. I'm out of here.
Can you imagine if he did sign?
They wouldn't let him shoot himself in the chest with a Roman candle on the hood of a car and then do a moonsault onto other people.
No, they definitely would not have let him do that. So you had, after TJP, 46 days, you had Brian Kendricks hold it for 30 days. I thought Brian Kendricks was good in that position.
Yes, absolutely.
By the way, this is 2016. Look how far back this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm glad we're doing this, by the way.
Doing what? Going through this?
Yeah, because I feel like this needs to be talked about.
I think people forget how 2016 feels like it was last year. This is all, like, this is a long time ago. Rich Swann held it for 61 days. Neville held it 197 days. Probably Neville right now is the best one that they have for that title.
Yeah.
I thought he was a phenomenal champion. Akira Tozawa beat him, held it for 6 days. Then Neville beat him again on the SummerSlam Brooklyn show. And,
I'm going to interrupt you another time. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think we're wrong about Turnbuckle Al.
Oh yeah, could it be Neville?
It's Neville. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That could be it. Good.
It's
That's great.
He's coming back. Pac.
Enzo beat Neville for the title. Held it for 15 days. Then Kalisto beat Enzo. Held it for 13. Then Enzo beat Kalisto in let's see, a TLC in Minneapolis. Held it for 93 days. And then Enzo had to vacate the title because of the accusations of sexual assault and harassment that they found out was fake.
Right.
Which that makes me, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. People hate him, but my God, to be falsely accused of something and then like have to defend your whole life, and then now people still look at him that way, terrible. Forget about what you think of the guy. But I mean, it's absolutely terrible.
Well, also it's because like when you can't separate the character from the person, you look at the character and you're like, of course he did.
Yeah. Cedric Alexander won the tournament, defeating Mustafa Ali for the vacated title. He held it for 181 days, Cedric. Something people don't really remember. Then you had Buddy Murphy hold the title for 183 days. He won it at Super Showdown in Melbourne, Australia in 2018. This was the beginning of Buddy Murphy's rise. Tony Nese held it for 77 days. Drew Gulak held it for 108 days. And then that was during the 205 Live era, by the way. The 205 Live era only had Buddy Murphy, Tony Nese, and Drew Gulak. And obviously Enzo as well, right? Enzo was there. And then you went into the NXT 205 Live era, and you had Leo Rush hold it for 63 days, Angel Garza 45 days, and Jordan Devlin 115 plus. Obviously, now we're going to have another one. So, what do you think of this?
I find the lineage fascinating because like definitely all these guys deserve to have that belt, and it's a good group of dudes, right?
It's a great group of guys, but if you look at this, so in New Japan, generally what happens is that title is they handle the cruiserweight, the light heavyweight or whatever, light heavyweight, very differently than WWE. That they actually give it to guys that are on top, but they're not a heavyweight yet. So that's why you've had guys like Kenny Omega hold that title. You've had Kota Ibushi. You've had, just the list goes on and on. Of guys holding
it's a huge
that light
list.
Heavyweight title. Tremendous list.
Liger, Sabu,
Sabu.
Tiger Mask, Kenny.
Sabu
Sabu held it for like
Really? Didn't know that.
For like I don't think he held it for too long. But you had a lot of dudes.
I don't think they give the title. So this title is not like you're the top, but you're a light heavyweight. So we're going to give you this. And then slowly you put on some weight and you move up. They don't really do that with this. They just give it randomly. Like out of all these guys that's gotten really elevated, I would say it would be Buddy Murphy.
Yes. I think Leo Rush was on his... the Leo Rush thing is weird. Buddy Murphy, you're right. He got elevated. For sure, I thought they were going to do something with Drew Gulak until they couldn't come to terms with him. Same thing with Cedric, because it seemed like, oh, cool, Cedric has a championship. But then, like, he started, like, floundering a little bit,
Yeah.
Kushida, also a 6-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight champ.
Kushida.
Yeah.
Okay, that's phenomenal.
So I'm going with Kushida in this tournament.
Like right now, look at why can't I find the list of light heavyweights?
What if Turnbuckle Al turned out to be Turnbuckle Enzo?
Turnbuckle Enzo? Oh my god!
Yeah.
All right, what else do we have?
Let's see. Transferring Heat podcast. It hasn't been talked about yet, so give me a Hogan scenario in which he comes back.
Right now, current climate. Okay, I got this. You ready? Okay.
You do yours, I'll do mine. Go.
Okay. It's SummerSlam, right? SummerSlam, empty building. All of a sudden, it's a match. It's a main event happening. It's Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre in a whatever match. They're having the match. All of a sudden, you hear something. Something's going on. And here comes a freaking DeLorean ripping through the ramp. The door opens. It's Hulk Hogan. He goes, come with me, brothers. We got to change the past. And that's how the show goes off the air.
And that's it? That's your Hogan return?
That's my
He
Hogan
shows
return.
up in a time machine and gets everybody into the DeLorean. How many people are in this DeLorean?
So Jimmy Hart, obviously, is in there already.
Baby.
Jimmy Hart.
Is he driving? Is Jimmy Hart driving?
No, Hogan's driving. Jimmy Hart's in the back. Drew McIntyre gets in, Seth Rollins gets in, and Vince.
You're not fitting in this thing. You need the train from Back to the Future 3.
No, they just all piled in there and they just take off.
I like it.
That's my Hogan
here's mine.
return.
Mine's weird. My Hogan return is big tag team tournament. There's a TBA tag team to be announced, right? All of a sudden you hear Enzo's music, right? You hear and he does the promo, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, hang on, everybody. Before we get to the good stuff, I got to tell you, my name used to be Enzo Amore, but my team is called Enzo Immortal. And then he points to the curtain, and it's the Immortal Hulk Hogan. So now you have the tag team of Enzo Immortal, Enzo Amore, Hulk Hogan, and they win the tag belts.
That's your return.
No
for
time
Hogan?
travel.
No time
it's just
travel.
new. It's just no time travel. It's just them winning the tag belt.
But what? Okay, but what are they going in the past? You didn't ask me.
Okay, where are they going in the past? We got to kill Hitler, brother.
They're going into the 50s.
Okay, we missed our window for killing Hitler, brother.
We missed our window. Come with me. We got to change the past. And it's him. It's a photo of him, right? So he has a photo of him, like, and it's like from the 80s, like Ultimate Hulk Hogan, and his mustache is fading away. And it's only the mustache fading away, not him. And that's the whole point. Something happened in the 1950s that prevented him from having a mustache, and there's no career. There's no big Hulk Hogan career. The mustache
There's
was
like
everything.
A butterfly effect.
Yeah, the butterfly effect. So they got to stop it, and what they're stopping is just one guy with a mustache committing a crime, and then after that, it's like the Hitler stash almost, right? Nobody wears that thing anymore. That's
except for Michael Jordan a few years ago.
Michael Jordan wears a Hitler stash. Yeah.
He did a few years ago. Like, you remember when Michael Jordan was in that I think it was a Hanes commercial or like a Fruit of the Loom commercial on the airplane, and he rocked like a weirdo Hitler stash.
Yeah, Michael Jordan could rock that. It's fine.
I don't know about that. I don't think anybody can rock. It's not fine.
Michael Jordan can do whatever he wants.
Brother, we got to go back in time before Masato Tanaka broke my leg, because otherwise I gotta convince myself to be a wrestler instead of the greatest bass player of all time.
He played
Imagine that.
Imagine he changes history and he becomes the bassist for Metallica.
Oh, so good.
That's
He
all
would
it was
tower
about?
over those guys.
Oh man, dude, that's what it is. They're just going back in time to make him the bassist for Metallica.
Pre Cliff Burton or post Cliff Burton?
Pre.
Oh, so like no Cliff Burton. It's Hogan.
No, it's Hogan. It's always been Hogan.
Oh my God. Brother, I gotta convince you not to take the gig. You're gonna slip on some black ice. So he has to go back in time to convince bass player Hogan not to join Metallica.
No. He's going back in time to convince bass player Hogan to join Metallica,
thus erasing himself from history.
Erasing. No, he's still going to be a wrestler, but he's the bass player.
So he's both.
He's both. Yeah, he's both.
He's Hogan and also the bass player for Metallica.
From Metallica, yeah. And he just
does he die in the
what?
Does he die in the car wreck? Does he fall out the window in the car wreck?
Yes, he falls out the window.
So he can't be both.
He could do whatever he wants, dude. It's Hulk Hogan in a DeLorean.
That is true. Andrew McIntyre for some reason, and Vince. And
Vince, yeah. And then Vince is now like trying to manage Metallica. This whole thing has to do with Metallica. I'm changing the whole history. So they go back in the past to have Hogan join Metallica, and Vince becomes their like manager. And Drew, I don't even know why Drew and Seth are there. Maybe Drew and Seth just hang out with them, like groupies. But essentially the goal is Vince manages Metallica, and Hogan is the bassist.
Can this scenario also end where everybody shows up at a high school auditorium and they give like the greatest graduation speech of all time?
Who's giving the speech?
Hogan, clearly. He was like, I had to go back in time, and I love San Dimas, dude. Combine all the movies.
We went down a rabbit hole, guys. All right, what else do we have? Give us some more questions to get us off this.
That's it, man. I think we ruined it for everybody.
I went down a TNA rabbit hole the other day. Yikes! I gotta tell you,
like Test and Albert.
Like Test and Albert, yeah. Dude, TNA really. There was no chance they were gonna survive. No chance. I watched a lot of like 2009 to 2012, and just because I'm always trying to compare it. Like, okay, well, do we feel the way that we do for TNA because, and then I try to figure out what it was. I can't. I don't know.
Was that Aces and Eights era?
No, pre Aces and Eights. Like when they went to Monday nights, when they went live. Was there any hope in that company? Yeah, was there any hope in that company like becoming a major competitor?
Was this during the EV2 versus Fortune thing?
I don't remember.
Because it was like Fortune was supposed to be like the new Horsemen in TNA, and then they brought back the ECW guys for some reason.
Yeah. Well, the ECW.
I enjoyed that, to be honest.
I enjoyed a lot of elements of it, but it doesn't. I don't think that. I think people honestly believed that they were going to be this tremendous company, but they had too much of that WCW stink.
Oh, 100%.
You know, it was just too much. Too much Jeff
I
Jarrett,
did like the six-sided ring.
I hated the six-sided ring, dude. That's what did it for me. I couldn't do it. I could never get behind it because of the six-sided ring. I know some people loved it. I hated it.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. I thought it was cool. I thought it was different. And plus, like, how else would you have discovered like AJ Styles or Samoa Joe or the Young Bucks when they were Generation Me or Motor City Machine Guns or when the Dudley Boys went there? That was like the prime time of like TNA, right?
Yeah, prime time.
X Division. And then what happened? They brought back like too many legends, right?
I don't even think it was that. You know, a lot of people blame that. I don't think it was the legends that, because if you think about this, like you got Angle, you got Hogan, you got Flair, you got Foley, you got Booker T, you got Sting, you got Kevin Nash, you got all these guys. You got the Dudleys, you got Rob Van Dam, you got all these
Gary
guys.
Lynn was in there for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, just top to bottom, just major stars. And they still couldn't get it together, and really has to do with the fundamentals of the company, not the talent. It was the fundamentals of the company. They just didn't have.
Absolutely.
They didn't have it together to put on a logical show. They just couldn't do it. Yeah, they had unbelievable matches, and listen, everybody blames Hogan and Bischoff. Like they did not do. I think they brought more prominence to the company than anything else.
I think so too. But it was also like a lot of the stuff that they did was kind of like almost like relying on your legends too much. I think like Flair officially had his last match in TNA. Mick Foley officially had his last match in TNA. Hogan officially had his last match in TNA, right?
Yeah.
Possibly Booker T.
No, Booker did WWE after that.
Okay, he came back. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was kind of like a weird thing. Instead of concentrating on like the dudes who are attracting the audience, they went a little backwards and depended on like the older guys. But it did work out in that Jeff Hardy Sting situation, oddly enough. So it's very just like oddly run, right?
Very oddly run. Very, very oddly run. It was a. I also think being in the Impact Zone didn't help them. You know, same issue. Same issue that NXT has. Right. We see what it's like to be in front of the same people in a sound stage essentially every single week. And when you compare it to a bigger product like WWE, you know, WWE's running, you know, a 20,000 person, 15,000 person building, and you're running a few hundred people, you'll never be on the same level. And I think that's the problem that NXT has right now with AEW.
Except
visually,
go ahead.
Right? Visually.
Yeah. I think the once a year when TNA went to England, they drew big numbers, right? They were selling out like a 15,000, 16,000 seat arena.
Dude, I got to tell you, the ratings were always good in England. If you look at this is years ago, right? When TNA and Impact was still not so much Impact now, but pre everything. TNA, whenever we would say something negative about TNA, it was always like English dudes defending it.
Oh, 100%.
And the product was hot in England. It was tremendous in England. And it really was a backbone. The ratings were really good. It just, what are you going to do? You're an American company. You can't run England all the time. I mean,
and you also had like... it's very fascinating because there was so much fun stuff in TNA in retrospect that it was kind of like disappointing that it never really went anywhere, right? The Jay Lethal Macho Man stuff was awesome. You had Shark Boy. Most of the Abyss stuff was pretty good, and then he did the Chris Parks thing. What was your most enjoyable time of TNA?
My most enjoyable time in TNA, probably the early stuff, like all that X Division stuff.
Okay.
That had to be that. I mean, the X Division stuff had to be great. I mean, that was a lot of the early ones, right? A lot of those early Chris Daniels and AJ Styles matches, a lot of the Samoa Joe stuff. That was great. After that, nothing really stood out.
We had Low Key also involved in that. Like a lot of like guys who were really just grinding their teeth to make it to like a main event, right?
Yeah.
The Kurt Angle feuds were always top to bottom great in TNA.
Yeah, he had a great career over there. I think that's something that people forget. He had an amazing semi-career in TNA, and the reality is it's not really talked about like right now.
Unfortunately, and we never got to see the. I would have thought they would have done the Angle Joe stuff when Joe got signed to WWE. You know, like that would have been.
I thought so.
I feel like that could have headlined any pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, Joe Angle. You're right. Joe Angle was probably the best program they put together organically.
And also Ken Anderson.
Ken Anderson, I was never into him.
He had a great TNA career,
even in WWE.
Really? Why not? It was too much.
It was weird. I just never got it. Everybody said he was the next Steve Austin, and I hate those comparisons. And
did you not like the name thing? They did it twice.
I hated the name thing twice. So one of my friends right now, I'm assuming their kid has their phone because they're sending me incoherent stuff, and they've called about 18 times while we're doing the show.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You want to just answer it and end the show?
No, it's not him. It's the kid. You could tell. What else do we have? Any other questions? Send us your last questions here.
Mm-hmm. We've been doing this for 89 minutes, baby.
Have we?
Yeah.
18, yeah. All right, give us your last questions, and then we'll wrap it up here. People say 2006 to 2009. I'd love to do like a little. I want to go back and kind of see what they were doing. I totally forgot what TNA was doing at this point. See, my memory for wrestling, anything from the mid 2000s, like 2007 on to about 2011 is gone. I have no memory of any of it.
Okay.
So weird. I don't know why.
That's when you started doing the hard drugs.
That's when it kicked in.
Lots of mushrooms, lots of DMT.
A lot of
psychedelics.
Yeah, I just hang out with Joe Rogan and just take DMT.
Let's do some DMT and watch a pay-per-view together. Let's see what happens.
Oh man, that would be fast.
You think we'd get kidnapped by the Anunnakis?
Oh, I think they would.
You think we'd
show
meet
up in the room?
You think we'd meet the Anunnakis together, like a
100%.
shared hallucination?
100%, they would show up.
That'd be great.
I would love that. I would love to share that experience with you. All right, I guess
And then
we're
we're
done
just
with
gone.
questions. I love to do all of it. All right, guys, that's it. Listen, we'll be back on Saturday, doing a live watch along. So join us on Saturday. I'll have all the links in the chat room. I'll have all the links everywhere. Obviously, you can follow Rich, BTC Rich on Twitter. Follow me at Andrew Zarian on Twitter. I tweet about wrestling. I tweet about tech and nonsense, essentially. And The Sopranos. A lot of Sopranos talk.
Oh my God. You have no idea.
I love The Sopranos. I don't know. What time are we starting the watch along?
We'll be doing our Sopranos ASMR on Saturday night as well.
Dude, let's do it. Let's do a Sopranos ASMR.
Christopher. Oh, what timing? What? Christopher. Tell Sil. Go to the bank. 6:30.
He got the virus, Chrissy.
I think it starts at 7. Is the pre-show at 7?
Yeah, pre-show 7 o'clock.
All right. Cool.
So we'll be there for the pre-show. We'll be hanging out with you guys, having a good time again on Saturday night. So join us for this.
Hell yeah.
And we'll see you all next time. Take care.
Later.
Christopher.
I want you, Christopher. Go to the bank and get the thing from Sil.
The best is
Did you know that?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Did you know that I'm listening to the Sopranos podcast and it's Christopher and Baby Bagala?
Yeah.
And it's friggin' fantastic. But did you know that the pork store was not real? It was a set. They built that set.
Was it really? I didn't know that. I thought it was an actual pork store.
On the first episode of the podcast, they were saying like people would go drive into Jersey looking for this place because it was on like a street, and they'd be like, "Where's the store?" And the people who own that building or whatever were like, "There's no store here. There never was. That was a set. We're sorry."
Great. That's great. I love that show, man. It's the greatest comedy ever. I just watched the one where Vito is gay, where they find him in the gay club.
Johnny Cakes.
Pre Johnny Cakes, right? When he goes to the gay club and somebody sees him in the gay club, and he's like, "It's a joke! It's a joke!" And they go and they tell Tony, and now they go in the back. And I love these like goon characters. So they're talking, and one of them looks at somebody else in the room, and he goes, "You got to think about it. Sudden weight loss." And Paulie Walnuts goes, "AIDS?" And fucking Tony loses his mind and he goes, "Nobody's got AIDS. I don't want to hear that word in here anymore." He got so triggered at the word. Freaking best scene ever.
All the Gay Vito stuff is amazing. Johnny Cakes is one of my favorite episodes of anything.
Great episode
ever. When he meets the firemen and they like,
just so good. What a weird spin to the show.
Everything, man. The ongoing card game, I think in season 5 was one of my favorite bits because you had like one episode you had like David Lee Roth.
Oh yeah,
and it was like the weird celebrities Taylor. That they were playing with. The Buscemi seasons, every season's good.
You had Frank Sinatra Jr., right?
Mm-hmm.
Frank Sinatra Jr. was there. Lawrence Taylor was there. I can't remember who else. It was a whole bunch. David Lee Roth, you mentioned. Phenomenal.
I gotta see who's playing poker on The Sopranos. Oh, this is terrible. It goes into like this weird. I've typed in who's playing poker on The Sopranos, and then the first thing that came up is how dangerous is playing poker.
Yeah.
That's very weird.
I wrote who's playing poker on The Sopranos, and I got Lawrence Taylor. That's it.
Okay. This is like, it just goes into like a weird, like.
Okay, let's see who's.
And also, very fascinating little factoid. I don't know if you knew this. Little Steven wasn't supposed to be Silvio or in it.
What was he supposed to be? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think he was supposed to be in it, but he wrote the character Silvio to be something that he wanted to develop. And when David Chase saw that he wrote this character, he just made him play the character and put him into the show.
That's great. I thought he was such a bad actor, but it worked for the role.
Absolutely.
Favorite third-rate character
on Sopranos?
Yeah.
Oh, who's the third rate? Who would you consider a third rate character?
I would make like if let's say like the main one, right? The main one would be main is Tony, right? Tony,
Christopher,
yeah,
Paulie,
like all those guys are main guys, and then you got some
Junior.
of the New York guys. Butchie would be a third level character. Third rate character is Butchie from New York.
Would Annie Jr. be a third rate character or second rate character?
Anthony Jr. would be second.
Anthony Jr.
I hate that guy. Hate him.
Go to your room.
Such a both kids terrible. I like from the New York side. I like Butchie. And from the and from Jersey, I would go Artie Bucco. Because I hate him so much. I hate Artie Bucco.
I hate Artie Bucco too. I think I'm gonna end up watching a couple episodes of Sopranos after we get off right now.
Artie Bucco's terrible. And then how about Carmela's friend? We're still on.
Are we still on YouTube?
Yeah, we're still on YouTube. We're doing a Soprano show.
Great.
Carmela's friends are weird.
Yeah, all of Carmela's friends are weird. Artie Bucco's, who's despicable to me?
Huh.
Artie Bucco's wife.
Oh, she's despicable. Just, you know what? Sucks all the creativity out of that man.
Absolutely.
And Artie's an idiot.
Yeah, Artie's a total idiot. But what was the story? It was like him and Tony grew up together, right?
Him and Tony grew up together. They were best friends growing up. And Tony went into the mob and Artie didn't, but Artie like fantasizes that he did.
Right.
You know? Like that's his whole thing. And his wife knows he's such a pussy and he has a thing for like Tony, but that's why she hates Tony. Didn't they hook up?
Right,
Didn't Artie Bucco and them hook up?
Carmela?
Yeah. Tony and Artie Bucco's wife hooked up.
I want to say, I think Tony
we were
hooked
broken
up.
Calm. What did you want me to do?
Did Tony hook up with Adriana?
No, but that was the accusation, remember? When he flipped the car.
Right. Oh, that's right.
That was
yeah.
the thing, yeah.
Can we call this segment of the show the Matt Pranos?
I love that. Let's do it, dude. Let's pick an episode and let's watch it.
Oh, forget it.
You know what? Do you want to do a watch along of The Sopranos? We watch one episode a week and we do it weekly. Where it's just us talking about The Sopranos. You want to do that?
We'll just throw it on YouTube. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Throw it on Patreon.
We could just do the what did you call it? The Matt Pranos?
Matt Pranos?
Matt Pranos. Yeah, let's do it. Carmela.
Oh, I can't wait. That's
you
exciting.
know who I hate?
Carmela.
I hate Carmela's mother.
Take the kids to school, Carmela.
I like your Tony. It's good. It's really good.
Thank you.
I hate Carmela's mom.
Yes.
Carmela's mom sucks. Carmela's father's okay. Just such a fascinating show.
A lot of the family members are all pieces of shit. It's great. They're all just like Tony's mom is so despicable.
Tony's mom is really despicable. Oh my God. What a and you know what's crazy? Like Tony went to college, and I think that's the most fascinating thing here. And if you ever listen, like if you really pay attention to how he speaks, he uses words he shouldn't be using.
Yeah.
For like a meathead, he actually has a really good vocabulary. And
Furio.
Furio ruled. Furio was weird. He made me very uncomfortable with his long hair and big nose. Oh man, who else was there? There were so many of these guys.
Ruben in our chat room just said he's never seen The Sopranos.
He should join us on this journey.
I think you should. We're not going to start watching from episode 1, but I think if you have any kind of HBO subscription, get on that right away. It's worth it. Sopranos is definitely top 5 greatest shows of all time, right?
Yeah, has to be up there. You know who's great? Junior Soprano, phenomenal.
Junior, Uncle June.
I like that when he shot Tony, he goes Pachamalanga.
Oh my God,
shot him.
That was a horrifying episode too.
Uncle June. Hey, well, who do you think he was? He thought he was who?
I think he had the dimension kicked in, and he thought he was like
Big Pussy
like
Malanga.
Like a hit was put on him or something, right?
Yeah. The best, and you gotta also remember, like the fact that Curb Your Enthusiasm is still on now, right?
Yes.
The episode where he's sitting in his room, he's sitting in the living room, and he flips the TV and it's HBO, and he puts on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he thinks he's Larry David, and who's the other guy that the Larry's friend? Oh God, what's
Jeff.
his name? Jeff. Yeah, he thinks Jeff is Bobby Bacala, and he looks at his friend. He's like, what is this, my trial? And he's like, and the guy goes, what, June? And he goes, what the fuck is this? It's a television show. He goes, is that Bobby? Is that Bobby? And he goes, Junior, it's a TV show. It's a television program. And he just flips it.
So good.
That's the best.
So good.
That's the best.
So good.
Oh, my God.
Tony Blundetto, Steve Buscemi showing up.
He made me very uncomfortable.
Great addition to the cast. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I opened this massage parlor.
What was the deal, dude? He just wanted to open up. That poor guy. He gets out of prison. He wants to open up a massage parlor. He wants to bang the Asian, the landlord's daughter. Right? That's what he wanted to do. And then nothing. Good. He ends up dying. He gets dragged into this mess. Kills the wrong guy.
Everybody.
He just starts murdering people. It's terrible. Terrible. Who did you feel bad for on the show?
Everybody.
You felt bad for all of them?
I felt bad for Tony. I felt bad for Anthony Jr. I felt bad for Meadow. I felt bad for you know what? No, Carmela's Anthony the one. Carmela. I never felt bad for Carmela because Carmela always knew what she was getting into.
Yeah. Anthony Jr. I never felt bad. When he tied that cinder block on his leg, I said, "My God, this is the moment he's gone." Couldn't freaking stand him on the show. So we know someone that knows him. Okay.
Oh, really?
We know a bartender, right? That worked at a bar in the city that he was a regular customer at.
Okay.
Like 10 years ago. And he said...
Lady bartender or male bartender?
Lady bartender.
Okay.
She's also a manager at a place that we go. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. She told me that he was the biggest piece of shit that would come in. He wouldn't tip anybody. Really? He wouldn't give anybody anything. He was just terrible. He was just the worst. I'm getting bizarre messages right now on my phone. All right, let's wrap it up.
All right. That was a lot of fun. Matt Prana, baby.
All right, thank you guys. I'll see you. Bye.
Uncle June.
Uncle June. That's great.